turn the person next to you and talk about what's the applicability of these principles to research in technical disciplines. Is it similar? Are there other considerations? Are they the same? What do you think? So take a couple minutes and how applicable are these 6 guidelines to research in general, and especially in technical disciplines.
I'm referring to the discipline of mathematics. Say just now whether we will follow this kind of research, and I said it depends. It depends on the focus of research. For taking mathematics as the context, if you're doing pure mathematics research, then you don't involve first step, because normally you don't investigate it through empirical. It's more theoretical. But if you go for the application, say trying to build a mathematical model, then all the 6 steps apply.
Perhaps even for more theoretical work, posing a significant question is still part of it? Yes, but it just is not investigated empirically, it's investigated theoretically. Excellent point. I love that response. You can.
I can only relate to current work that I'm doing, I suppose, but in engineering, I don't think that it's any different. Maybe just the way that we discuss it, the presentation of it, would be a lot of difference. I mean, in this current transition between engineering and engineering education, the confusion is about how you write and how you think about how it matters.
And that's the most common response we're hearing, especially from engineering faculty. Oh yeah, that's what we do in engineering research. You have to come up with a significant question, something that is timely, relevant, will make a difference, is worth spending time and effort. It has to be able to be investigated in a systematic way, maybe empirically, maybe computationally, maybe experimentally. You have to have a connection to the research, to the theory, sorry. It has to be grounded in some kind of theoretical framework. You have to, really directly investigate the question. You've got to provide an explanation or a line of reasoning. You have to do it in a way that others can follow what you've done, and replicate it or generalize it. And it's public. It's presented to a broader community. And so the common response is the one I think that said, oh yeah, this is what we do in our technical disciplines. And so then the question, well, why don't we do this in education too, in our disciplines? The other resource that we found very helpful, especially working with PhD students, is this book called The Craft of Research. It was written by 3 people at the University of Chicago, and they wrote it for beginning college and university students to help them learn how to do systematic inquiry. That was their initial audience for the first edition about 10 years ago. But what they found is that many supervisors were giving it to their PhD students, saying, here, use this, especially for your writing as you're doing your work and figuring out how to make an argument. Use this. And so this is now the 3rd edition, they've revised it so the audience is much broader. We use it in one of our courses in the Engineering Education PhD program at Purdue, a course called Engineering Education Inquiry. How do you conduct systematic inquiry? And the students, find it very, very helpful. So it has this, a model, a potential model for the research process. Things that people observe and practice in their teaching and learning, in their technical work. It's framed as a problem, right, or an opportunity, which then motivates a more specific, a more detailed, a more researchable question. which then informs the conduct of some systematic work around framing the research problem, weave in a systematic approach, a methodology, leads to a research answer that informs then or guides the practical problem or resolves the practical problem. And you just keep cycling around that. The reasoning process is, research often involves making an argument. It's a claim that this will make a difference in student learning. For example, all the work that's going on in cooperative problem-based learning. The argument is that this change of format will lead to more and better learning. Now, Helmy is investigating, so what difference does it make with problem-solving skills? And found an area where you found that no one had really looked at the relationship between problem-based learning and are the students' problem formulation and problem-solving skills any better? They do just fine on traditional kinds of assessments. They learn the material, but are they better problem solvers? So it seems it's a reasonable argument. It's a reasonable claim that in this environment, students' problem-solving skills look better, but no one knows because it hasn't been done. So then, the underlying theoretical framework is, well, what's the reason that supports that argument or that claim that students would be better problem solvers? And so then looking at, theories of problem formulation, problem solving, we looked at 3 or 4 of them, I think. Ill-structured, well-structured, expert, novice, novice expert, and there was a third, and I forgot. Well, the frameworks that you looked at to develop the reasons for why you're claiming that problem-solving skills improve. Yeah. And then, the research is about providing evidence, the arguments for your claims. And this book, it's very readable. It's not very expensive, about $10 US. And I think a very helpful guide if you're planning to do work in this area, or for the supervisors if you're helping others learn how to do work in this area. I would encourage them to spend a little bit of their stipend on this resource. So I've mentioned these 2 resources, the craft of research and scientific research in education. There are a bunch of other resources that I think may be helpful for those of you who are working in this area. And these kinds of journals exist in all disciplines, but I'm mostly going to talk about the engineering ones, or the engineering education ones. The Journal of Engineering Education has really changed a lot over the years. It's coming up on its 100th anniversary. Founded in 1910. For the first about 80 years, it served a variety of roles. It was sort of the news of this professional organization. It had some scholarly publications, but it was much more classroom practice things. Here's what I tried in my class, and it seemed to work. Students liked it. In 1993, the journal underwent a transition to much more scholarly work and split off the news, the Society of Communications, the much more trade kind of journal. Then in 2003, 6 years ago, it got reframed again as the Research Journal for Engineering Education. And again, physics have journals like this, biology have journals like this. I'm pretty confident that mathematics, I don't know. Chemistry have, chemistry education is a journal like this. And then the more practice-based, especially multimedia journal emerged from this called Advances in Engineering Education. The Journal of Engineering Education accepts 2 types of manuscripts, and there was some complaining